What happens when you put an unstoppable force up against an immovable object? Or in this case, a man so powerful he can defeat any opponent with a single punch, up against a Viltrumite that's harder to put down than anyone? Well, that's what we're here to figure out in Versus Battle Card's final battle of Season 1, Saitama versus Invincible. These two subversions of the superhero genre are ready to duke it out, but only one can come out victorious. According to the Discord poll, Saitama will be the winner, but Invincible does have a few backers of his own. The prediction poll started off the series with a pretty good winning streak, but they goofed up the past couple episodes. Let's see if they can get back on track for the season finale. In terms of arsenal and abilities, both Saitama and Invincible don't really have much. They just punch really hard because that's all they really need to do. I mean, with their incredible strength also comes incredible speed. Invincible can fly, but Saitama can emulate that by just jumping really good, making it back to Earth from the moon with little to no effort. They can also deal long distance damage with the sheer power of their punches by creating shockwaves or gusts of wind. And they can both survive the harsh environment of outer space, though they both still need oxygen to breathe. However, where Saitama seemed a bit unnerved after a few moments without air, Invincible was able to hold his breath for multiple weeks. And this is where Invincible starts to tip the balance scale in his favor thanks to his Viltrumite biology. The universe of Invincible runs on smart atoms, and Viltrumite DNA is able to replicate and manipulate its abilities. Thanks to this, Mark and other Viltrumites are able to subconsciously create invisible force fields around themselves. It's why their clothes don't burn off when entering or exiting atmospheres, and why they can fly super fast with humans without killing them, even when they're traveling at speeds far beyond the human survivability. It lets them resist extremely cold and extremely hot temperatures, even as intense as a burning star. It makes them immune to all kinds of poisons and diseases, gives them rapid healing, and it's also why Viltrumite DNA is so compatible with other species, no matter how alien they are, whether it be humans or mantis people. So because of all this, I'm gonna have to give the point here to Invincible. While Saitama technically does have a higher number of attacks with his serious punch, consecutive normal punches, serious table flip, serious squirt gun, etc, they're all still standard hits that do standard damage. No special attributes or effects attached to them. Meanwhile, Invincible's superior Viltrumite DNA fills him to the brim with all kinds of little quirks and perks and buffs. Plus, he has actual flying compared to Saitama's just really good jumping. But let's see what the YouTube comments are thinking so far. Matching the theme of speed, there's no need to waste time on bullet timing and lightning timing, as these two constantly surpass it on a regular basis, exceeding light pretty easily. Saitama simply jumping from the moon already resulted in relativistic speeds, he thinks a character who can attack at light speed is a complete joke, and he's superior to Garu who can move 4 times that fast. These should scale to his reaction speed too, as no opponent has ever moved faster than his eye can track. As for Invincible, he has to deal with constant space travel across long distances. You kinda need massively faster than light speeds for that. But of course, you need something specific, so let's talk about Omni-Man. After beating Mark to a bloody pulp, Omni-Man fled Earth and found himself on a planet with the Mantis race. While the name of this planet was never revealed, it was stated in a guide to be located in the Virgo supercluster, over 65 million light years away. According to Omni-Man, he found this planet within a week of leaving Earth, meaning he was traveling at least 2.2 quintillion miles per hour, or over 3.3 billion times the speed of light. And that's the low ball, assuming it took the entire 7 days. Scaling to their reaction speed and providing some consistency, the Viltrumites are superior to this Mantis race, a member of which was able to bring Mark to the planet in 6 days from Earth by manually piloting a ship there. This results in speeds closer to 4 billion times the speed of light. So I think it's pretty safe to say Invincible has the edge here. Strength is where Saitama starts pulling things back in his favor. They actually have some pretty similar feats. Both have survived dips in lava, both have survived town-level attacks, with Saitama surviving opponents who can destroy entire cities, and Mark casually surviving a nuclear blast. Both can deal damage to planets and moons that are visible from space, and both have planet-level feats. However, Mark's planet-level feat isn't quite what it seems. This feat was performed by Invincible and 2 other Viltrumites, one of which being his father, Omni-Man. And the planet's core was already pretty destabilized. The comic made it very clear that they wouldn't be able to accomplish this if the core was working perfectly fine. So instead of the entire planet's destruction, the only thing we can really take into account are the Viltrumites barreling through the planet to cause its destruction. The entrance point being around 100 petatons of TNT, or multi-continent level, and the exit point being around 40 exatons of TNT, or moon level. While they weren't fully responsible for the exit point explosion as it was part of a chain reaction, they were still in it and survived the whole thing, and were pretty okay afterwards, even taking on some Viltrumites that were on the planet the entire time. So they should have no trouble scaling. Saitama, on the other hand, is much easier. He punched Boros' planet-busting attack. The end. Yeah, some translations and interpretations of the story say it was only going to wipe the surface of the planet, but he still did it super duper casually, so why not just give it to him anyways? Plus, even one of Saitama's authors just straight up said Saitama could blow up the planet if he wanted to. He just doesn't feel like it. There are plenty of arguments you could make for that invincible feat being planet level, but ultimately the plot says no. Like Saiyan's not being able to breathe in space, or Steven Universe gems not being able to move faster than light, despite the arguments for both. So we gotta give this one to Saitama. But let's see what the Discord predictions think, as well as a video prediction from Braden Dyer.
Saitama from One Punch Man versus Invincible from Invincible. And who do I think will win? Probably Saitama. I don't know. He just has... I mean, Invincible does have super strength, but Saitama can beat foes who surpass Invincible's strength by a lot, like Boros, for example. Or... I don't know, but still. I just think Saitama wins. I've never not connected to both their series, but I'm guessing Saitama wins. That's my prediction. Bye-bye.
For this final segment, there's not really much to talk about. Just like their arsenal and abilities, they don't have much beyond dealing standard damage. They're essentially just regular guys, but insanely powerful. The most I can think of is Saitama's endless stamina. Ever since he broke his limiter, we've never seen Saitama get tired, not once. I mean, he gets pretty bored and sleepy if his opponent is monologuing, but never exhausted. Then there's Invincible's tenacity. No matter how badly he gets beaten, he'll still continue to fight, even when the damage goes as far as having his own guts hanging or being pulled out of him. But that about covers it. Time for the results. The winner is Invincible. Saitama is no doubt the stronger one. One of his authors flat out says he can bust planets, while when it comes to Invincible, the plot literally tells us that he can't. But Invincible is much faster, by quite a bit. A simple 10 times, 100 times, or even 1,000 times speed difference probably wouldn't be able to overcome a power difference of moon level to planet level. But there's eventually going to be a point where the speed wins out. And I think being faster than Saitama by a literal multi-billion times over is pretty far beyond that point. Even if we were to buff him up a bit to that 4 times Uranus death battle estimation. Add on Invincible's smart atoms, tenacity, lung capacity in space, and overall superior Viltrumite DNA, and I think it's pretty reasonable to see how Saitama's hard work and training just couldn't beat Invincible's natural abilities. But let me know what you guys think of this outcome, and thank you for predicting in this episode. This was the season finale, so I'm not going to reveal the next fight yet. However, I do want you guys to ask me questions, because I'll be doing a Q&A where I reveal the next matchup for Season 2. And please listen closely, I said ask questions, not give matchup suggestions. I told you before this series even started that I would shut matchup suggestions down, and you're about to see what that means because you didn't listen the first time. So, see you at the Q&A, whenever that is. Don't worry, it'll be soon. I'm not doing long season breaks. But yeah, ask me stuff. LeopoldTheBrave, out.